Today we're going to be discussing 6 easy shrubs for your South Florida garden. So let's get into it. Firebush is probably one of the best plants you can plant for pollinators in South Florida due to these nice big clusters of fiery orange flowers that they produce. Flowers are tubular and appear year-round in a tropical climate. You can cover an entire shrub and make for a very interesting sight when there's so many of them. Once pollinated, the flowers turn into small, black or purplish berries that are popular among songbirds but are technically edible to humans too. Firebush can grow as a more compact shrub but tends to adapt a more wide and open structure when it's left unpruned. At its most, it can grow between 8 and 15 feet tall and around 6 through 10 feet wide. A highly adaptable species, being able to grow in full sun or full shade. It can also tolerate a wide range of soil conditions, from alkaline to slightly acidic. Firebush is a great choice for adding color and attracting wildlife to your garden. Next up is beautyberry. Beautyberry is also renowned for its ability to grow in a range of conditions, including alkaline and acidic soil and full sun to part shade. Beautyberry gets its name from its fruits, which are small purple berries that grow in clusters alongside the leaves. The small flowers are popular among pollinators, and the fruits that appear to replace them are very popular among birds and small mammals as well. Beautyberry typically does not attain a huge size. It tends to stay as a small to medium shrub growing between 3 to 8 feet in width and height. It responds well to pruning, but looks best in a large native planting like this. According to some people, the leaves of the beautyberry can act as a mosquito repellent. You just crush them up and rub them on your skin. At the third spot, we have what I consider a very underutilized shrub, that being the locustberry. Locustberry is capable of reaching 5 to 15 feet in height with a similar width. However, it does so at a pretty slow pace. It's got dainty, delicate leaves with a nice reddish-brown bark and reddish new growth. However, the real standout are its flowers. Locustberry flowers are very dramatic, appearing in white clusters and later becoming pinkish and eventually a crimson color. The flowers are very popular among pollinators and they're also exceptionally ornamental. At the number 4 spot, we have silver buttonwood. As an attractive morph of the common green buttonwood, the silver buttonwood is well regarded for its silky, silvery leaves. Buttonwood is highly adaptable to several growing conditions, especially sea salt spray and high winds, since it naturally grows near the coast. In the wild, it typically grows to be a small tree, between 15 and 20 feet in height and width. However, it can very easily be pruned to be just a fraction of that, between 3 and 5 feet tall and wide. It works very well as an accent shrub, adding a silvery pop of color where everything else would otherwise be green. In the number 5 spot, we have a personal favorite, that being Jamaica caper. Jamaica caper works well as a hedge or accent shrub for many reasons, including its beautiful dark green leaves and wonderful flowers. The really unique, almost alien-looking flowers start off white before turning pink and falling off a few days later. The shrub itself is not very tall, typically growing between 6 and 15 feet tall and 6 and 15 feet wide. Overall, the Jamaica caper is just a really interesting and tropical-looking native plant for South Florida. Jamaica caper can grow in a range of soil conditions. However, it does prefer to be in either full sun or partial shade. Its beautiful flowers and leaves offer year-round interest, and since the plant tends to grow by coastal areas, it does have some salt spray and wind resistance. Our final shrub of the day is wild coffee. Wild coffee is an interesting example of convergent evolution, having evolved similarly ridged leaves to domesticated coffee independently. It's an easy-to-manage shrub, typically growing between 4 and 8 feet tall and 4 and 8 feet wide. It can show significant interest in the garden due to its small colored berries, which are typically red or orange, as well as its interesting leaves. In the summer, wild coffee produces clusters of tiny white leaves, which are popular among small pollinators. Like firebush, wild coffee is also highly adaptable, being able to grow in a range of soil conditions and a range of light conditions, from full sun to full shade. So many more interesting South Florida native shrubs, however the ones I mentioned are the real standouts. The ones that can do well in a range of soil conditions, light conditions, by the coast, more by the interior. These are great for your garden and excellent for attracting wildlife.